Welcome to the programme. Thanks for your time. So the head of Niger's presidential guard, General Chiani, named the new leader. In your view, what's next for Niger in its immediate future? Are we now going to see a period of calm?
I think that's it's very uncertain. I mean, everything surrounding this coup d'etat has been quite uncertain. Whether we'll see a period of calm or not, it's unsure. I certainly do think when one looks at the communique that they produced, it is quite interesting. I was very bemused to see a coup d'etat with leaders that were making sure to ensure that they did not want to harm the physical integrity of the president, Mohamed Bazoum. So to me, I have the impression that the coup d'etat leaders, including the head of the presidential guard, that they are also somewhat in a bargaining stage and most likely trying to talk to different stakeholders to try to find some credibility.
Coups seem to be as regular as Christmas in Niger, don't they? I mean, they come around rather regularly. I think this is the 5th coup in Niger since the 1960s. I mean, why? I mean, what are the fundamental factors that contribute to this political instability and the regularity of this kind of thing?
Well, across the Sahel, and not just in Niger, but in Niger in particular, we have to remember that one of the legacies of colonialism was the way that countries were at times just drawn on a map based on the desire of a certain colonial power to have access to a river, certain resources, or perhaps even to be in opposition to their the other European powers that they might have been in opposition to. So I think that at this point, no one can deny the fact that there is no sense of cohesive national identity in Niger. And anytime you see coup d'etat this regular, it means that people don't feel connected to the government, that the centralized state, as it is, has failed. And, this hyper-centralized state is very much something that we see with former French colonies in particular. France itself is an extremely centralized country. They are also going through a decentralization process. And I think when we see that in countries like Niger or Mali or Burkina Faso, it fails to encompass the diversity of the different groups that are present in the country. And so when you're in a situation of very poor infrastructure, very little access to services, that money is not being distributed throughout the population, and the security situation is also getting worse, you then end up in a state in which people no longer necessarily feel aligned to kind of a greater national identity.
From your considerable experience, the political instability is never insular. It has wider ramifications. I mean, what regional implications does this coup have, given that Niger has been seen in recent times as almost a pillar of stability in this region?
I think that it's early days in terms of being able to kind of quantify what the regional effects could be, but they are absolutely significant. I mean, Niger is really a keystone country, much like Chad, in that it's in the middle of many zones. It's in the middle of the Maghreb in North Africa, West Africa. It's also, Central Africa. And the reality is quite a few of the ethnic groups in Niger are also ethnic groups that are in the Sudan, where there's also been fighting. So when we'll look at it from a wider regional perspective, the fact that this country, the fact that the central state could potentially fail even further, could create power vacuums that lead to further destabilization by frankly, any number of non-state actors.
Abiol Lual Deng, thank you very much indeed for taking time out of your holiday to talk to us, and enjoy the rest of your holiday. Thank you.
Thank you so much.